I now have some particularly unfortunate news. Our next scheduled speaker, Professor Dundee, will not be able to join us after all. On the way to Hobart Airport, on his way to the UK to promote his new book and also to speak at our conference, he was involved in a road traffic accident, swerving to avoid a wallaby. Luckily, he was not injured, well, the wallaby, but Professor Dundee ended up in the ditch and suffered mild whiplash injuries. He sends his apologies with this very short message. Brave patriots of the UK, fight on, particularly against any repressive, formless, local council wallabies who seek to stifle freedom of speech and dictate who may or may not be heard. I'm coming to the UK in September on a lecture tour regarding wildlife and road traffic safety, and I'm looking forward to attending your national conference as a keynote speaker. And then he ends by saying, God save the Queen!
What? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm not allowed to speak here? What is it, a library or something? I've done what? I've offended people in the past with my hurty words. I mean, well, okay, yeah, fat people, yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, okay, and maybe old people, yeah, okay. Owen Jones, well, that little cockwomble, obviously. Yeah, okay, and all the vegans in Brighton. Yeah, all right, I'll do this later. Hi, so sorry about that little distraction there. Thank you very much for having me here as your guest speaker for the UKIP South East Conference. I'm really delighted to be here with you today. And I would like to thank Eastbourne Council in particular for their open and warm welcome to this, the unwelcome building. Eastbourne Council have said that I am a public safety hazard, which is bloody rude, seeing as they're the ones who still haven't figured out how to use deodorant. Typical lefties, I guess, all in need of a shower and a good bacon sandwich. In April this year, Eastbourne topped the charts in Sussex for violent and sexual crimes. There were 78 of them in Eastbourne alone, making it the most dangerous place in Sussex. And yet, I'm the one who's supposed to be the risk to public safety. Yeah, sure thing. All that aside, it's great to be with you today and to have spent time with so many of you over the weekend at this exciting time for the country. We have a new Brexit deadline of the 31st of October, a new Prime Minister incoming, and the possibility of having Trump on one side of the Atlantic and Boris on the other. What could possibly go wrong? Whatever your views on Boris, energy and optimism are something this country desperately needs. And it's good to see those words being used again on the campaign trail by a politician with a personality. My own background is in the military. I only ever wanted to be in the army. I was sponsored through university by the Intelligence Corps. I passed out of the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst as one of a girls' platoon of 30, and I earned a 35-year regular commission with the Intelligence Corps. I wanted to be the first female general. My epilepsy put pay to all of that. And now, in my older years, I can see why an epileptic with a semi-automatic weapon might not be the best idea on the planet. So now I fight for my country in a different way, here on the pavements, on the streets of this great country, a place I know called the rest of the UK. And make no mistake, we are at war. Britain is under attack, with globalists waging destruction on 3 fronts. 1, to destroy the family, to say marriage is old-fashioned. Say, we don't make Father's Day cards in school anymore because we don't want to upset half the class who haven't a clue. Say to 4-year-olds, it's great for a child to have 2 dads or 3 mums or none. Say, men are now women and make being trans a movement. Say, we have to accept that David is now Daniela because that's what he felt like this morning when he woke up trying to coax his morning glory into a lace-fronted thong. This perversion is drummed into our kids at school, lauded in our colleges, and any hint of disapproval is now a hate crime in the UK. Recently, a male rapist decided he now identified as a female and was transferred to a woman's jail. What do you think happened next? I will quote a female inmate who was the victim of the alleged sexual assault that took place. She said, "The recently arrived prisoner stood close to me and touched my arm whilst her erect penis was sticking out from the top of her trousers." Her penis, my arse. Where did I leave my penis this morning? I've looked for it everywhere. I can't find it for the life of me. Our families are under attack. 2, destroy our culture. The leaders of Western Europe have destroyed the very fabric of the places we used to call home. People simply don't recognise their country anymore. The elderly feel isolated and no one feels like they belong. People tell me they are sick of feeling like second-class citizens in their own homes. I get emails from 70, 80-year-old individuals who tell me they're glad their time is nearly up, so they don't have to watch their country fall. People are tired of being at the back of the queue for work, for schools, for a healthcare system they paid into their whole lives, of schools where English is the 3rd or 4th language, if that, where we are not allowed to fly our St George's Cross because it's a racist symbol. In London, white Brits are already a minority. 1 in 3 people living in London were born overseas. London has a Muslim police association, a Muslim housing association, and Muslim schools. And these densely packed populations living in isolation from British culture vote according to their religion. It explains the power wielded by the nipple-hyped Sadiq Khan, as useless as tits on a nun. But secure in his position because of his religion and his Muslim voting bloc, well rewarded for their political loyalty, he threw them an Eid party all to themselves in the heart of London in Trafalgar Square. Our culture is under attack. Thirdly, our democracy. Give people a referendum on the EU. Tell them to vote Leave or Remain. Send a note through their door telling them the government will implement whatever you decide, and then don't. Enable a corrupt postal ballot system where dead people vote, where blank ballots are collected for cash, where ID is no longer required. Make it so that our voice at the ballot box is silenced, as well as our voices elsewhere. And then ask Brits, what left is there for us to believe in when you've taken our family, our country, our vote? But, you know, they can't take how we raise our own families. I have 3 children, they're 15, 14 and 10. What we think of the country we used to know is still special to us, and they can't take that away. And nor our determination to get what we voted for. And we do not take these attacks lying down. We are here because we are defiant. We will not comply. We refuse to be silenced by the left or intimidated by their menace. We will not deceive our supporters. Other parties, like Farage's, have laundered our truths. They've laundered Brexit to make it palatable for the mainstream media. The squeaky clean Brexit party, one issue, one sanitised version of the debate. Don't mention the war! But not talking about something doesn't make it go away. Our truths, the truths of decent Brits, the truths of UKIPers, are the reason that Leave won. And UKIP is the only party speaking about them. I believe we're fighting for something much bigger than Brexit, for our families, for our culture and our democracy, and we are in this fight together. Together, our voices will be heard. We stand strong, we get furious, and we fight back. Thank you very much indeed.
That will be available on the net, so you can enjoy it and show it to all your friends.